Welcome back to the news at 10. The 5th edition of the Southern Nigeria People's Assembly meeting has held in Asaba, the Delta State capital, where delegates from the southeast, south-south and the southwest coming together to discuss regional issues. The Delta State Governor Emmanuel Uduaghan told the delegates that the people must be united if development is to be achieved.
2015 general elections is less than a year away, and a lot of things are yet to be put in place to ensure success. This is what inspired this convergence of politicians, legal practitioners and media executives to look at areas of improvements.
Individual citizens can sour the process through utterances that can create disaffection, that can create disagreements, that can, mislead innocent people to behave in ways that will tamper with a free choice in an election. And we all are citizens of Nigeria. Our duty, first of all, is to ensure that we behave ourselves well.
If we're going to have a successful elections 2015, it is important that the role of the media is clearly defined, and that we as a broadcast regulator, we have an standing and obligation to do our job and to make sure that the media is not misused or used as a vehicle to cause problems in our country.
The Anambra election was expected to have set the stage for 2015 general elections, but it failed, making it a wake-up call.
When I saw that there were mistakes, which in any case could have been easily explained as a computer glitch on the register, but I went further 3 days to the election to present the new register. Believe me, I think it was a good opportunity. I should have run with that information and fronted the media.
Another issue raised in the course of the day's discussion was the effect the digitization process by the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission might have on the coming election.
Ahead of us is the switchover to digital. I don't know what the position is today. We're starved of information. The only warning I can give, and which I think that the NBC should hear, is the fact that if you switch over people during an election year and they don't have TV to watch, they will misinterpret it and say that the government is playing games.
There is an upcoming event that NBC is planning that will involve detailed briefing on the progress so far made on digitalization.
While these solutions are preferred and points noted, many Nigerians might still have questions over what really is the problem. But participants here believe that a credible election in 2015 can only be achieved when all Nigerians take responsibility for their votes and refuse to be bought over. Omelogo, Channels Television News.
Well, we do deeply apologize for the slight mix-up that we had there in those last reports. Well, last year's handover of power companies to private owners brought with it some level of optimism amongst Nigerians who anticipate improved power supply and better quality of service from the new investors. Now, 3 months down the line, the power supply situation across the country is yet to improve, and in some parts, it's degenerated. Our community report tonight takes a look at the situation in the Muluku community in Delta State and Owerri, the Imo State capital, where people have resorted to alternative sources of power.
Now, two situations usually characterize the availability or non-availability of electricity at any location. Either a total silence or a piercing noise. For many Nigerians, noise pollution from generating sets like this one has become a normal part of everyday life. residents of Ubuluku lament the situation in their own community.
We get even there's the office here, but all is vain. I've not been seeing light. We both here every day, every night. That's how we have been coping ourselves. It's been a long time. In the past 3 to 4 years now, we've not been having light. So what we do, we manage generator. And we don't even have the hope of getting light. Still, we were told by December last year we'll be having light. But there is disappointment.
The thing started from little bit down to the major one. If you see the wire now, most of the poles are falling away. Recently, the new power station is on progress. After installing the power station, we thought that light will come in immediately, but up to now, we are yet to hear anything from there.
This 330 kVA injection substation and 132 by 33 kVA step down in Ibuzo is a solution the Benin Electricity Distribution Company says will turn around a lot of residents of Asaba and neighboring towns including Ubuluku.
There's ongoing maintenance at Obosi 132 Center. So because of that, we can hardly get up to 10 megawatts. So you can appreciate what my customers are going through. We are aware of all this and we fervently pray that this project will come true before the end of this year.
Owerri, the Imo State capital, southeast Nigeria, boasts a large population of small-scale businesses that rely on electricity. But the lack of it makes skilled workers like Azoma Ahazie, a welder, and Okore Chibuzo, a studio owner, count their costs.
Our business is such that it must run with either electricity or there must be power for it to work. And when we now spend about 3,000 something almost on daily basis of fuel, there isn't any way you can make it. You can't make it. Most of the little gain we make goes back on buying fuel.
I have a job, but there's no power supply since last year. This is how I will be. If I come to our shop, I will be sleeping until the time. If I wanted to, I would just wake up and go.
Yeah, constant supply is reserved for owners of large-scale businesses through special arrangements.
What you are seeing live here now is an MD customer. So being an MD customer, it makes it a preference on their own because we pay higher. And then they always make sure we have light when there is supply.
We've been able to replace 2 of these breakers that were defective. And since that replacement, about a fortnight ago, power has stabilized. That is to say, when there is available quantum of energy at the national grid, we will also have its own fair share.
As the epileptic power situation continues to bother Nigerians, what remains to be seen is how soon the private investors will bring the benefits of privatization to homes across the country.
Well, we can now bring you a bit more on the Southern Nigeria People's Assembly meeting, where delegates came together to discuss regional issues.
Elder statesmen, traditional rulers, former governors, senators, as well as top politicians from the southeast, south-south and southwest converged on Asaba, the Delta state capital, for the meeting of the Southern Nigeria People's Assembly. As soon as all the delegates settled down, the meeting kicked off with the leader of the assembly addressing the gathering.
You have a duty. Whether you're a commissioner, whether you're a legislator, all we are saying, you have equal rights in this country. Protect your right, fight for your right, and defend your right at any time.
Picking up from where the elder statesman stopped, the governor of Delta State, Dr. Emmanuel Udwan, impressed it on the delegates to seize the opportunity provided by the forthcoming national conference to push for a better Nigeria.
Apart from the political differences,
businesses, there are issues that affect southern Nigeria that will be better resolved when the leaders of the region meet. That no ravaging fire of ethnic nationalism will consume this country. If we do not believe that, or if we believe that that will happen, we will not be here in this hall.
At the end of it all, delegates left the meeting agreeing to gather at a later date and fine-tune their positions before the national conference takes off.
First Bank, truly the first.
Now let's take a look at some business news now. Director Trevor joins us later.
And of course, thanks, Ijoma. We start off with this report. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, says that the cash reserves ratio on public sector deposits may be increased to 100% to further tighten the liquidity of cash. This increase is to encourage the banks to mobilize savings from traditional sources other than the public sector.
You have a situation where the government has trillions of naira in the banking industry earning 0% interest, and then turns around and borrows that money from the same banks at 13-14% interest. It's a no-brainer. That CEO, that is one way to make money. Just go and get public sector funds and invest in T-bills and bonds and do nothing. Why go and rent a manufacturer or a farm? Now you've got to make that money not attractive, so that banks actually pay a price on deposits, because that's what has happened. Because they get this cheap public sector deposit, they don't pay you, the private sector, a good return on deposits. And you can say, between deposit and lending rates, it's just crazy. So you improve intermediation. Certainly, government money will ultimately have to come to the central bank. You've got a very simple account, and it is vulnerable to all price shocks.
The governor of Central Bank, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. Now, in recognition of their contribution to the growth of the company, the management and staff of ICO Insurance PLC today held a send-forth party for two of its non-executive directors, that is Chief Rashid Badamosi and Chief Eugene Okwo. They have both served for more than 13 years. The chairman of ICO Insurance, Chief Oladile Fajemirokun, while presenting gifts to retired directors, acknowledge the immense contributions their wealth of experience brought to the organization, adding that that's the only way to show appreciation and to recognize them for a job well done.
If they have served and willfully retire from the board after attaining the biblical age of 70 plus, the only thing that we could give them is to recognize them like today, because what they have been able to contribute, and the fact that they were there when the company grew. They contributed their quota to the phenomenal growth of the company from a mega billion naira revenue to 20-something billion naira revenue of today. And the foundation is laid by them for others to follow. But most important, it's a good legacy to leave for the company that non-executive director should also be celebrated. That is the points we are making here in ICO.
And away from that company news, the all-share index continued in the downward trend, depreciating by 0.43% to close at 40,278.82 points. Mr. Koka gives us details of trading at the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Midweek trading at the Nigerian equities markets was low as the key index slid further by 0.43% to close at 40,278.82. with the market capitalization still trending within the 12 trillion naira band. Investors gave Forte Oil, Nigerian Breweries, and PZ the cold shoulder as they were Wednesday's top losers. 7up led 15 other stocks on the advances list. The bank stocks dominated on the volume chart, with Wema Bank paying the highest units of shares at 65.11 million. At the end of trading, investors paid 5.91 billion naira for 354.88 million units in exchange in 5,091 deals. And that's a wrap on the stock market reports. I am BC Koka.
Thank you, BC, and that's it. It's back to Ijoma for the rest of the news.
First Bank, truly the first.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Manchester United battle Arsenal at the Emirates. That's the UN Sports News. Rejoicing.